Alright, here we are at Your Family Still Matters. We got our Global Sun Oven here. So what we're going to do is go through the whole unboxing, opening, and everything that you got in it, and how to get prepared for first time use. Alright, so let's go and open this guy. Okay. So when you first open your Sun Oven, what you're going to have is the oven sitting in the bottom, and you're going to have all this blue film. That all has to be removed, but we're going to show you in a minute how to do that. Okay, so inside the oven, you have all your extra components that come with the package, if you got a package, because you can get them either way. So you got all your pans and everything all down there. So what you're going to do, obviously, is remove all that, because you're not going to bake all the paper. That's not cool. Okay, so this film here is to protect it in shipping. It's pretty darn stubborn, but you can get it off. It usually helps if you got a small knife or whatnot. If Mr. Cameraman wants to come over here and check this out. If you want to take it, you can take and lift it a little bit, like so. And then take and just start peeling it all the way across and off. But what we're going to do is go and pause that because it takes a good, 30 to 40 minutes to take it all off, and it's really boring to watch. So, okay, we'll be right back. Okay, so after some laborious removing of all the film, seriously, it's not that fun. You're probably doing it, so you understand. Okay, so now that we got it all taken off, we got a good clean surface. Now there's a couple of things you need to do before you actually use it for the first time to make some amazing stuff. Alright, so first off, everything's been removed, and what you want to do, what we're going to do here off camera, is go and remove your tray, okay, and you want to take and wipe this down pretty good with like a little bit of warm water and a rag, right? Okay. Then on the inside of it, you're going to see that you got a little bit of foam and whatnot in there, and you don't want that in there. You're going to take a rag and you're going to wipe that all out, okay? Then after you're done with that, you're going to actually stick it in the sun. We're going to show you how to do that. But when you stick it in the sun, what you're going to do is actually let it bake itself for a good, 30 to 40 minutes when it reaches full temperature. Now the reason you want to do that is because when they make them, they have a lot of different chemicals that go into producing the outside of it and whatnot, and that can leach into your food. So if you bake it off, what it does is evaporates those and make sure that that taste and those chemicals don't get in your food. But we're going to show you how to do that in just a moment, but make sure you wipe it down good and thorough, because if any of the foam is left in it, when you first bake it, it can bake that into it. And we don't want any of that. Okay. Alright, now that we got it all wiped down, what we're going to do is we want to take the tray out, right? When we go ahead and wipe it all off. We're going to set that back in here. And we're going to go ahead and start its own baking process. Alright, now there's a couple things when you set a solar oven in the sun that you ought to know. First off, they like looking directly at the sun as best as possible. We're going to show you a couple things using the shadows to kind of tell about how well you're pointed at the sun. Alright, so if you want to come just a little closer there, cameraman. Okay, so right here you've got two latches, right? What you're going to do is go ahead and shut them as best you can, because you want to build up the best heat you can in the oven. Now it's also best to do this on a day that is very bright and hot, basically hot to your skin, because the light that comes out of the sun isn't necessarily what makes them hot, it's the ultraviolet radiation, or what gives you a sunburn, more or less. Alright, another note, on these two latches here, from the factory they're actually pretty tight. So what you might want to do is take a screwdriver and back them off just a little bit to where the lid is very snug, but to where these aren't impossible to get on. Alright, so right there you just have standard Phillips. So back them out just a little bit to make sure that you can latch it down well. Alright, then if you want to come back around this way, what we'll do, if you see here you have your sun oven, and you have these shadows, right? The best way to try to line your oven up with the sun is to take and turn it so, if you come this way, your shadows here are even on each side. So we know that we're actually directly pointed at the sun about now, right? But if you take a look at this here, we have a long top shadow, that's what's hitting this top cell. And we got a really short bottom one here, that's what's hitting this bottom one. So what we're going to do is we're going to tilt this guy down until our top and bottom become even right there. You can see here, you can see down there. Now on the back of each one of these Global Sun Ovens, they have a really cool device. It's just a foot, kind of like an old camping peg. So you're going to go ahead and push the button in and pull it down. Or if I can actually, there we go. Alright, so we're going to bring that down to about where we want it. So there we go. Now we could go up a little further, but it's pretty close. So right there. So at this point, we have it positioned directly at the sun. Easy way to tell is by the shadows. And what we're gonna do is watch our gauge, make sure we get up to as hot as we can for the day. Usually 320 if you're in southern Utah. That's a pretty good average. So what you're gonna do after it gets there is you're gonna let it sit in the sun and more or less bake itself for a good 30 minutes. After that's done, we're gonna show you on the video too, you're gonna open it up, let it cool off for a sec, wipe it all down like we did before, and then you can stick it out and do it all over again. After that second time, you'll be good to go and you can start cooking in it. Alright, so now we've let it cook itself in the sun for about 30 minutes with nothing in it. After we've done everything we told you, we're going to go ahead and open it real quick. And we've actually let it cool off a little bit because it gets pretty hot. Alright, so we're going to open it on up. And what we're going to do is actually wipe it down. But what you want to do first, before trying to wipe it down, is again remove the tray. Good idea to let it fully cool down, otherwise it's really hot like it is now. Alright, so now our tray's out. We're going to go ahead and wipe down the bottom. All over again. You're going to get a kind of a funny smell, but that's totally normal. Cool. Alright, so just like so. And then you're going to take your rack, or your set rack, and you're going to wipe it down a little bit too. Alright, just like that. You do it one more time, and then you're totally good to start cooking in it.
Alright, so we got the sun oven back up to 360 degrees again. Second bake off, so we can get it nice and clean. We're going to open it up, and note to self, please use hot pads. It is really 360 degrees. Alright, undo your latches for the second time. Open it up. Boy, that thing is smoking hot, literally. We're going to pull out the tray again. Yes, please do use a hot pad because it's blooming hot. Let's see over here. Very hot. I'm going to set this off to the side and deal with it in a second. Again, wipe it out completely, all the way across the bottom, all the way through the back. Get it good and clean. You can use a little bit of soap if you want. I usually just use warm water on the rag. But just get it good and clean. You can tell the difference between the first and the second cleaning because really clearly the smell. It smells normal, by the way, for the first time. But anyway, that's it. We're going to cook some cinnamon rolls here first.